The U.S. military is quietly planning for a future where it may help secure Iran's nuclear materials. This unexpected move reveals the lengths to which Washington is willing to go amid shifting diplomatic tides. Here's everything we know about this critical development. As we look ahead, the next steps hinge on the potential for a diplomatic agreement regarding Iran's nuclear program. Recent talks have reignited hopes for a resolution, but the complexities of the situation cannot be overstated. The Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, originally established in 2015, aimed to limit Iran's nuclear capabilities in exchange for sanctions relief. However, the U.S. withdrawal from the agreement in 2018 under the Trump administration has led to heightened tensions and a sharp increase in Iranian nuclear activity. Should negotiations progress, key considerations will include who will physically secure the nuclear materials, whether the mission will require multinational collaboration, and how Iran will respond to external involvement in its nuclear affairs. Regional players such as Israel and Gulf partners are poised to react significantly to any developments, potentially influencing U.S. strategy in the region. Israel, which perceives Iran as an existential threat, may take unilateral action to safeguard its interests, complicating U.S. diplomatic efforts. If negotiations fail, contingency planning suggests that military and diplomatic channels are preparing for a scenario that could escalate tensions. This could lead to increased military presence in the Gulf and heightened conflict within the region. The implications of U.S. military involvement in securing Iran's nuclear materials could be profound, igniting a wider confrontation in the Middle East. Such actions could alienate key allies and undermine ongoing diplomatic efforts. The intricate geopolitical landscape presents high stakes for all parties involved. Observers should closely monitor developments in diplomacy and military readiness. In the coming weeks, the actions taken by the U.S. and its allies will be critical in determining whether diplomatic avenues can prevail or if military options will dominate, shaping the balance of power in the region for years to come. The backdrop to today's military planning involves years of escalating tensions surrounding Iran's nuclear program. This issue has been a central flashpoint in global security discussions since Iran's initial development of nuclear technology in the early 2000s. The international community, particularly Western nations, has long expressed concerns that Iran's pursuit of nuclear capabilities could lead to the creation of nuclear weapons, destabilizing the Middle East. Over the years, various cycles of sanctions, diplomatic talks, and military deterrence strategies have unfolded, creating a complex landscape of international relations. The Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, established in 2015, aimed to limit Iran's nuclear capabilities in exchange for sanctions relief, but faced significant challenges following the U.S. withdrawal in 2018 under the Trump administration. This withdrawal not only undermined the agreement, but also led to Iran gradually stepping away from its commitments, intensifying regional tensions. The current discussions by U.S. military planners signify a recognition of both the potential for renewed negotiations and the risks associated with a lack of oversight on Iran's nuclear materials. This planning reflects a broader understanding among policymakers that any diplomatic gains must be accompanied by robust mechanisms to ensure security and stability in the aftermath of a potential agreement. The implications of these developments are profound, as they could reshape alliances and influence the geopolitical dynamics of the region. Looking ahead, the U.S. military strategic focus may pivot towards a dual approach that balances diplomacy with a credible deterrent, ensuring that any future agreement is not only enforceable but also sustainable. As negotiations evolve, the international community must remain vigilant, adapting to the shifting landscape of Iran's nuclear ambitions and the broader implications for global security. The implications of recent military contingency planning are profound and far-reaching. Discussions have intensified regarding the potential involvement of U.S. forces in Iran to safeguard its nuclear materials. This development is particularly concerning for regional players, especially Israel and Gulf states, who remain on high alert regarding Iran's nuclear ambitions. Historically, Iran's contentious relationships with its neighbors, underscored by past hostilities and conflicts, have left deep-seated distrust in the region. The presence of U.S. forces in Iran, even in a supportive role, raises significant worries about military confrontation, which could heighten tensions in an already unstable area. The approach to safeguarding nuclear materials is central to global non-proliferation efforts. Controlling these materials is essential to preventing any potential weaponization, which could have catastrophic consequences not only for the Middle East, but for the world at large. The U.S. military planning indicates that policymakers are considering not only the possibilities of diplomatic engagement, but also preparing for high-stakes instability should the situation deteriorate further. This dual approach underscores the precarious balance of power in the Middle East and highlights the intricate web of alliances and enmities that define the region. The average person should care about this development, as it emphasizes the potential for conflict that could have global ramifications. If Iran's nuclear stockpile becomes contested, the consequences could ripple far beyond the region, impacting international markets, energy prices, and global security alliances. The interconnectedness of today's world means that disruptions in one area can lead to widespread economic and political fallout elsewhere. Looking ahead, the situation remains fluid and unpredictable. The U.S. military's involvement could either serve as a deterrent or escalate tensions further, depending on the actions taken by both Iran and its adversaries. As diplomatic efforts continue, the need for robust dialogue and cooperation among nations becomes increasingly critical. The next several months will be pivotal in determining whether a peaceful resolution can be achieved or if military options will become the dominant narrative, shaping the future of regional stability and international security. In a significant development on June 13, 2026, reports emerged that U.S. military planners are contemplating contingencies for securing Iran's nuclear materials should a diplomatic deal be reached. This planning represents a notable shift in Washington's approach to Iran's nuclear program, which has long been a focal point of international tension. The discussions reportedly focus on the logistics and potential deployment of U.S. forces in a sensitive and politically charged environment. While these plans are still in the discussion phase and not indicative of immediate military action, they underscore the serious considerations that U.S. officials are grappling with. The discussions suggest a strategic pivot towards stabilization efforts in the region, indicating that U.S. military planners are looking beyond the immediate negotiations and into the complex realities of post-deal scenarios. Historically, U.S. engagement with Iran has oscillated between confrontation and diplomacy, particularly concerning its nuclear ambitions. The Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, signed in 2015, initially aimed to curtail Iran's nuclear capabilities, but faced significant setbacks following the U.S. withdrawal in 2018. The current deliberations reflect an understanding of the potential fallout from a renewed diplomatic effort. Should a deal be finalized, the security of nuclear materials would be paramount to prevent them from falling into the hands of rogue actors or being misused. The implications of these military planning discussions are profound. They highlight the U.S. commitment to not only negotiating, but also ensuring the enforcement of any agreement reached. By considering military involvement in the post-deal framework, the U.S. aims to project strength and stability in a region often fraught with uncertainty. This shift could also influence the dynamics of U.S. relations with regional allies, particularly Israel and Saudi Arabia, who have historically viewed Iran's nuclear capability as an existential threat. Looking ahead, the U.S. military's readiness for such contingencies may serve as a critical bargaining chip in negotiations, potentially leading to a more robust and enforceable agreement. As talks progress, the ability to secure Iran's nuclear materials could redefine the strategic landscape of the Middle East, ushering in a new chapter of both cooperation and caution in international relations. As we consider the potential military involvement in securing Iran's nuclear materials, what do you think the implications will be for regional stability? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more in-depth analysis of global events.